You're listening to Cards to the Moon, a podcast about trading cards from both a collector and investor perspective. We hope you'll stick around for the ride as we take a deep dive into the state of the hobby, share some hot takes, hopefully some useful advice, and fun stories along the way. Hey guys, welcome back to Cards to the Moon. This is episode 209, and it is our Friday episode. My name is Clark from 5 Card Guys on Instagram and 5cardguys.com. Co-hosting with me, as usual, is John, who is Trade You at Recess on Instagram. Hyung's sitting out for this one, but hopefully he'll be back for our next episode. All right, this one is going to be a short episode, just to get you guys over the weekend. But I did want to talk briefly about the recent 2024 Topps Industry Conference that just happened this past week. And first, I want to know how to get invited to one of these events. You know, we've been creating content now for a few years, you know, with a growing podcast. So if anyone from Topps or Fanatics is listening, please let's connect. And hopefully we'll be there next year instead of just reading everything on Twitter and on Facebook and on Instagram. But anyway, there was a bunch of announcements. And I'm sure if you're in the hobby, you've seen some of them. And I just want to cover a couple for today. And then we'll do the rest on next week's full-length Tuesday show. Of course, we do have to talk about the return of Topps Chrome basketball this summer. You know, we didn't know if Topps is going to wait until its NBA licenses kick in, which is, I believe, is in 2025-26 season. But nope, the announcement was that they would release unlicensed product this year, this summer, and we can all expect Wemby autograph cards. And not just Wemby, though, but LeBron autograph cards. He just recently signed a deal with Fanatics, as well as KD and Steph Curry. So what do you think, John, of this announcement? And I'm wondering, what do you think in general of the idea of unlicensed autograph cards? You know, will this be any different, do you think, than what Panini does for its baseball cards or, you know, the Leaf autograph cards, where we tend to see them less valuable? Do you know what I mean?
I think people will still see it as less valuable, but Topps Chrome basketball, the return of that product has been, like, people have been clamoring for it and waiting and waiting. So this is not your usual unlicensed product. I think there's still going to be hype. I think it's still going to sell out. It's going to do really well. Yeah. Overall license, you know, I think we know how we feel about unlicensed product outside of Will.
You're right. Will's loving this. Yeah.
Yeah. So am I surprised? Maybe a little surprised, but when you know, within the couple of seconds that you are surprised, you're like, you know what, it makes sense. I'm sure they would have, for the sake of the hype, for the sake of making such a giant splash and the return, I'm sure they would have loved to have waited for the licensed product. I mean, for the licensing and to make a huge splash. But it's Wemby. It's Wemby's rookie season. They got LeBron autos. There's enough there to make this product huge, and I think it's still going to be huge, even though it's unlicensed. So, from a business standpoint, absolutely makes sense. It's a no-brainer, and I'm sure Ruben and company have been working really hard to get this out the door as fast as possible.
Yeah, completely agree. It's a special circumstance, that's for sure, especially with a superstar like Wemby. And just like you said, LeBron autos, people are going to be clamoring for that. That's going to be a chase card in so many of the sets that have LeBron autos. I know you saw the Superfractor Wemby that will be in the Topps Chrome, where he has the ball on his shoulders and he's looking backwards. And then, you know, everyone online or anything I've read so far, they all love it. You know, even though it's unlicensed, they all love it, right? Did you have a favorable opinion on that as well, or?
No, it's good. It's I don't know if all the images will be like that, but it's I think it's like smart imaging, because you're featuring the player, you're kind of removing the jersey and showing a lot of the back. I know Panini, is it Prism Baseball? I know they do that with baseball a lot, where they kind of have the rear shots of the players, so it doesn't look as directly noticeable, because if you get it from the front, you just see a blank blue jersey or a blank red jersey, and it just makes the appeal of the card is so different, right? So to hide some of the logo imaging within the card, the fact that you have unlicensed, I think it's smart. It's smart imaging, and I hope they do that for most, if not all, the players, where they do have them in action shots or posing shots where you don't really have to remove the logo. So
I don't know picture. How much, I actually like the look of the card, but I was joking in our sports card chat group, I wonder if it could get overdone if everyone has the same pose. And I think it's Will that says it's the prom pose variation. If they, I would buy it if they purposely said this is a prom pose variation. I'm like, okay, that's a set to collect. But if it's all like that, I wonder if it could get overdone because, I don't know how creative, how much more creative you can be to kind of make it seem natural. Right. Like to your point, the baseball ones, it's like, everyone, it's that pose where they just finish swinging. And so, the bat's behind them and you see the numbers. I don't know, when that would be overdone, but I guess we'll find out soon enough with the Topps Chrome set coming out in just a few months. The only other thing I want to talk about for this episode, there were a bunch of product release news, and we'll cover that in Tuesday's episode. But one of the ones that I want to mention now is because I've gotten questions already about this. People have been DMing me at 5 Card Guys, and that's where are the MLB rookie debut patches going to be inserted this year, right? Obviously, with Jackson Chourio and Jackson Holliday having their rookie debut patch cards, those are going to be huge. And I know Jackson Holliday is struggling, but those cards are still going to be huge compared to, no disrespect to Anthony Volpe and Jordan Walker, but they will be huge chase cards, and they're wondering where it's going to be. So we found out at the Topps Industry Conference, it will again be in the Topps Chrome update boxes. Wow. So there you have it. I guess maybe they should just keep it in that set. You know what I mean? Then Topps Chrome update has some kind of prestige because that's where everyone will be starting to look for the rookie debut patches. So that's kind of cool. Right. I wonder what the cost of boxes will be though. Like right now, it's about $200 Canadian. So $150, $160 US. And the Volpe 1/1 MLB debut patch hasn't been found yet. So it looks like that's kind of the median price. But I wonder if it gets a bump up because of these really top prospects in this year's in this season. But I guess we'll see. I want to ask Hyung, he's not here, but I want to ask him about Tyler Black. I know he has a special connection with the Milwaukee Brewers rookie that just played. And you and I just found out his father is a Canadian broadcasting legend, Rod Black.
That's crazy. I didn't know that. Yeah.
And so that's cool. Tyler Black, Canadian, and he had a pretty impressive debut game. And what I want to talk about too was that he did have that MLB debut patch, obviously for his first game, and he also got drenched with Gatorade. So that debut patch is going to have Gatorade on it. So that's kind of a neat little thing if you're into that.
Or at least it should. Because if it comes out and you do some scientific work and you find out there's no Gatorade in there, you're like, where did this patch come from? I don't know.
That'll be controversial to say the least. Yeah. We'll see. But there you go. Some of the answers we've been looking for, they definitely address those at the Topps Industry Conference. All right, like I said, we'll get more deeper into it on the Tuesday episode. But for now, thanks for listening. We appreciate you guys. And again, we'll see you next week.
Hear that? Believe it or not, summer is just around the corner. Luckily, Armor All, America's most trusted auto appearance brand, has what your car needs to get that perfect summer shine. Plus, now through May 31st, we'll give you $5 for every $20 you spend on Armor All products. That means car wash pods, protectant, tire shine, you name it. Find out how to get your $5 rebate at armorall.com. Armor All, less work, more clean. Terms apply.
Hey, thanks for listening to Cards to the Moon. We'd really appreciate you subscribing to our podcast wherever you listen to your podcasts. And you can also connect with each of us on Instagram at 5cardguys, or you can follow Hyung at Integrity Sports Cards, or John at TradeU at Recess. You can also check us out at 5cardguys.com. Thanks again, and hope to connect soon.